My name is Gam. I'm creative director over at Brainwash, and I'm very excited to be having a discussion with you on queer dating, especially during the times of COVID. And let's have fun with it. Let's have a key. I feel like there's a lot to discuss, especially within the love department, as Ayana said, that has been happening recently, especially for us queer people. And I don't think there's enough avenues or enough places online that are actually discussing what's going on in our hearts and so on and so forth. So I'm happy to have you guys here chatting with us today. You guys want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Jessica.
Hello,
Um,
Jessica.
I identify as a lesbian, and yeah, I guess my status is single.
I'm Eric. Sexuality, I normally say queer or gay. Mostly say queer a lot. Just a universal term. And then status is single, but I mean, I don't know, child.
Let's pronounce it out because that's actually my first question. What is your relationship status? Like up in the air, what does that mean?
I think up in the air just means like there's something to work towards if
Mm,
the potential is grabbed towards that. Um, I'm right now I'm in the transitional phase of understanding like how I date and how I want to date. And the things that I want to when it comes to dating. So I think those are things as well that I'm thinking about, which is why it's probably up in the air. Then the lack of people that I'm talking to also makes it up in the air too, because there's no one to date.
mm, mm. And where are you living again, Eric? You're staying in New York, correctly?
Yeah, I live in Brooklyn. Well,
Please
this
tell
is
me there's nobody out there you're talking to? Nobody?
um, I mean, okay, so recently there's a person that I am like getting to know. I'll say that. We're in a
Mm,
talking phase. We known each other for a little minute. Had mutual friends, but now we're just talking with no expectations right now. So that's
okay,
what it is. But
great.
normally, no, I'm not usually talking to someone. So this is very new too. So
Oh, okay. And what about you, Jessica? Are you talking to anybody? And what does that mean, talking? If any of you guys can discuss what that term means, what are the boundaries of talking? How long do you talk, and what do you talk about?
Well, if I'm going to be honest, I'm actually in a situation, but the spirit chose to say the word single. So if I'm being real, it's
I
an
love this.
entanglement, but it's clear what I want to be. That's sad. Um, but as far as talking, um, what is talking? Like what really is that? Are we in this? Are you with me? Are we shacking up? Like it really just depends, I guess, on your boundaries. For me personally, you ever want to say something that might be indicative of like your trauma and it's like, girl, you need to work on that. But for me, talking does not exist. Like you're either my person
Thank
or
you.
you for the streets. Like that's it.
Yeah, I'd be having enough conversations, but I feel like talking is just kind of like dating. I feel like talking is kind of staying within the realm of your phones, and you're checking things out, and you're kind of just feeling each other URL, not IRL, if that makes sense.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I consider talking as pretty much both. I mean, talking to me is just a stage of you getting to know someone. Though I don't really consider dating in that because for me, dating is something that's happening consistently and continuously. Talking is like we talk here and there, we're getting to know each other, becoming friends in that sense. Dating is like, I think we are at a point where, okay, we're making an attempt to see what this is about after we have talked, after we have saw that we have similar connections to certain things. And I think that's where like we get into the dating part of, okay, we're going to go here and spend this time together, and we're going to do this and spend this time together. To me, talking is just like we're talking, whether IRL or virtually.
Understood, understood. I love having discussions about terminology, and especially as queer people too. Like we have that energy and that initiative to give things meaning and the meanings that we want them to have, which is awesome.
Right.
For me, originally, dating is if I'm dating kind of happens with multiple people. You can date multiple people. Do you guys believe in that?
As of late, I do. I think for a long time I had this idea that like there was just one ideal person for me, like given whatever period of my life I was in. But I think the reality is that people are different kinds of fun. Like you should be having different experiences. This person might like plays and this person might not. I think it's good to have a person who like ticks different boxes depending on what you're looking for.
Dating and talking to different people is definitely okay. Especially if there's no form of boundary or communication that haven't been placed on that though. I think you're allowed to do that. But I do also think that if you're not willing to do that, or at a stage of you talking to different people and there's this one person that you feel like that you want to continue to move forward with more, without the distractions of other people, I think there should be a conversation then about, okay, should we start talking to just each other, or are we even both on the same page of doing something like that as well too? For me, it's about communication always, hands down. So if there's no communication involved, I'm pretty sure you can just do whatever you really want to do.
I think this is a good segue into my next question because we're jumping off what Jessica said about different people who can satisfy different parts for you or about you. Has your types changed at all while dating in these COVID times? Are you still pursuing and or attracting the same type of people?
I think my type has always been the same. I'm also open to other things that are not my type. I think there's a certain barrier or foundation that I'm like, okay, there's something that my man has to have at all times, no matter who I'm dating. And I think there is some flex involved with certain things. For example, I'm very into tattoos. So I know that's very weird for some people, but I love tattoos. So body, I love face tattoos for sure. Like that's like a really cool thing that I really
Face
love.
tattoos.
I love face tattoos. I feel like that it allows someone to be like truly themselves, and for me, that's a really big part of for me. I'm scared of face
I
tattoos,
get you.
but I do things that I feel like are me, and I'm not really navigating the world in that way of I have to not do this so I can be accepted or someone can like me in a certain type of way. So for me, that's like a fuck you to all of that. So I think those things I really look towards though too, but I don't actually have to date someone that has tattoos though either. It's a plus, but it's not something that I have to have. I think there's certain places and certain like non-negotiables.
And what are some other qualities?
You know, we're in a pandemic and it's affected people a multitude of ways. And because I'm aware of that, I'm afraid to say what I'm going to say. But my
Should I have
type has,
prefaced with this is a safe space? I should have prefaced that, right? That's what they do now, right?
right? This is a safe space.
This is a safe space.
My ideal partner is always getting to it, pandemic or not. You're banded up. There's no excuse because
Yes.
I've managed to stay afloat. Granted, you know, everyone's circumstances are different, but I just noticed I just saw people that I thought I was interested in like complaining about shit that like you could definitely fix if you got off your ass. And that's a trait that I'm always going to be looking for. Go getters.
I appreciate that so much, both of you guys' responses. Would you guys say that other characteristics you find from a partner, would you want someone who's kind of more your opposite or someone you would have a lot more in common with?
I actually kind of like both. The thing that I love about my parents is they're very two different types of people. But the way that my mom
Mine
explains
too.
it, yeah, the way that my mom explains it is that her and my dad had similarities that bonded them together, and then their differences made the relationship a lot better. So learning about each other and the things that they love to do differently, I guess, made the love a little bit more fonder in that way. So I'm pretty more on both sides. I know that's kind of weird being on the fence, but I like that too. You need something to bring y'all both in, but then you need those differences to be able to elevate each other at the same time. So I'm always down for both.
There's like a saying, I believe. It's like you guys have to be yoked the same. I don't know if you guys have heard it. It's like a black saying. Like, for example, me and my partner, we're very different. He's so particular, very anal, very analytical, but always on it. And I'm a bit more go with the flow. I see details. I'm a bit more creative. But regardless of all these differences, we kind of like have the same origin, which kind of means that we're going to be going the same place too, if that kind of makes sense.
As someone with a lot of Gemini placements, I don't even know what I am like. And
Perfect.
so therefore, um, the person just has to be their own kind of unique. Like, you can't be too much like me, but you can't be throwing me off. Like, you just need to be your own person who is just like, I want to feel like I'm stepping into your world and it's just this thing that it's its own, and you know, you're stepping into my world. And I feel like it's hard to say like if that means this person is exactly like me or the total opposite, but I just love individuals. I think that's really it, because I'm such an individual. You have to have your own taste, opinions. You really just got to be your own person. Like, so whether that's super like me or whatever, just as long as you're your own person, I'm there.
I'm definitely down for that too. So I'm actually a Gemini sun, so that's everything that I love about that. I love a Gemini placement. I think we're really the best ones that talks about individuality. None of us are the same, but we all enjoy each other's differences. At the same time, I think that's the best part. I mean, to be in a Gemini, we get a lot of hate, but I just feel like we're the best out here. We know how to adapt. I love adaptation right now.
Do you think quarantining has created a general wider want or need for companionship amongst us? And do you guys think you're one of those people?
I think it has forced people to want more company just because people are stuck in the house. Like, people are just wanting in general. They want to be somewhere else with someone else, just doing something else. And I feel like it's because our number one, I guess, connection to each other is social media, and everyone's just people are going on vacations in the damn pandemic. Like, I feel like everyone just wants something, but as far as relationships in the just relationships period, yeah, people are bored and lonely, and I've noticed that a lot of people can't be by themselves. As someone like taking it back to being a Gemini, I love MySpace. I can't get enough of MySpace. So to see that, I'm just like, I'm glad y'all in the house, because we was not gonna click.
See me, I'm someone enjoy my space, but if being alone is my only option, then I'm not going to like it. I will definitely say that I'm an extrovert, but my battery does run out and it could run out really quickly. I just have to I have to have duality. Like, I have to have someone by me, but like we have to be in a space that's big enough in which I can do what I want. Or I can have someone next to me and we're not talking at all. I love that kind of companionship. Like, just quiet next to me, but leave me alone. Does that make sense?
I am actually totally like that too. I like the duality. Like, I'm very extrovert, so I like to be out. I like to do things, but I also like to have my own space. When I'm at home, I'm more of that type of person. Like, I'm in my own room. I'm doing my own thing. That's just me when I'm inside the house. I've always been like that. But when I'm out, then I'm out. Then I'm here. I'm there. I'm doing this. During the pandemic, I love to be around people in general. So it's kind of hard to not always be around people, especially when you're not from New York and you want to be close to family, and I can't be close to family now. I really can't be close to family. So those things are kind of big for me. But as far as dating, nothing has changed. I wasn't gonna go see nobody anyway. So it ain't do nothing.
I,
It ain't do nothing.
I had something to say about that on the question of like, loneliness and things like that because queer community, like we kind of like thrive off of like being with each other and being next to each other. And I think apart from romantic, not having my people with me and not being able to access them as quick as I can or as easily as I can has been a little bit more harder for me. Do you guys agree?
Yes. I will say the one thing I do miss is like going to gay parties. But on the other
Absolutely.
hand, I think that like our community, we do things like U-hauling. So that's why I feel like the whole internet thing hasn't really stopped much. Like, I have friends who will see a girl who lives in a whole another continent, and that ain't stopping nothing. They're catching a flight, they're eloping, and that's that.
But no, I trying to being around people does really really matter to me. I just wish I don't know the internet thing. I'm easy talking to there on there too. So I don't know. I have nobody to talk to though, y'all. It's just it's lonely. That's why I need my friend, my family to talk to, or it's gonna be real lonely in here.
do you guys feel like, in connection to the question I just asked, I mean, we still do have access to each other via the internet and so on and so forth, but I feel like the internet kind of saturates like the people that I'm in contact with. It's like everyone who is kind of just an associate, and also alongside like my friends or like people that I actually want to have connections with, they're all kind of like reduced to the same level. And I feel like it's too much going on, or a lot going on, where I can't like really swim out and narrow out the ones that I really want to have conversations with. Do you guys share that feeling? And if you guys do you guys have any like tips to navigate?
Quarantine, if anything, like allowed me to pay more attention to what I'm attracted to, who I'm attracted to, why I'm attracted to them, and some things have like been revealed to me through this time frame. Like, okay, cool, dodge the bullet. It's not something I want to be around. I think a lot of people tell a lot of things on the internet if they're not telling anything at all, or if they're telling everything. And the way that they navigate in general, I've been able to watch a lot of things. So I'm very observant. So I'm watching how people navigate, how they talk to people, how they interact with other people, how they do certain things like that. So that really allows me to know, like, okay, maybe this is not something I really want to be around. I mean, in general, quarantine has allowed me to not be around people that I probably don't want to be around in the first place. So now moving forward, I mean, like, I always choose my space wisely, but I think now moving forward, the way that we're moving in this community now is I'm really just going to be with the people that I want to be with and not really give time to things that I don't want to give time to, because that's a waste and I don't got no time to waste right now.
Her.
Sometimes I feel like I've just talked to people because they were interested. Like, damn, this person keeps DMing me on Twitter. I guess I should maybe entertain them. But now that everything's digital and we're not forced to like see these people in real life, it's so much easier to curve. Like, it's so much easier to just weave through. I saw that tweet you liked. You're transphobic. Out of here. Like, it's so easy.
Period. Random question, but what do y'all DMs look like? A little bit
They
chaotic.
look like ignored cash apps, people just talking to themselves. It looks like people don't be looking at themselves before they try to talk to me. That's what it looks like, honestly.
What about you, Eric?
Oh, there you go. I'm an avid communicator, so I kind of communicate regardless though. I'm pretty straightforward. So if I don't feel like talking to you, then I'm not going to talk to you. If I feel like I want to talk to you, then I talk to you. That's kind of like how I navigate like any type of messages I have in general. But I don't know. I don't like the curve people because I've been curved before. It don't really feel well. I'd rather you just be like not interested or whatever you're feeling. Because then I feel like that's a little bit for me. It's a little bit more respectful. But I don't know what your life is like, Jessica. So if you have to run away from people, then go ahead, girl. But I mean, again, I don't have nobody to run away from, so that's another thing. So no, it's just friends in my inbox. That's another thing. So nothing.
The sad part is, I feel like I've made it explicitly clear that I don't date men. And there's always those men who think that if they can just keep sending me hard eyes, I'm going to suddenly change what it doesn't work like that. That is what
That shit is
I
so
want
annoying.
to stop.
That is very wild though. I don't know why like cis straight men continue to do that though. That's so wild to me that like it still flatters them that women will like other women or be attracted to someone that's non-binary, or like it's like they feel like they have to be liked, and if they're not liked, then it's an issue. And I'm like, ooh, soul searching, y'all. Get your lives together.
Also, it's that over assumption that any woman is like of use to them or can be of use to them and must be of use to them. And I just don't like that arrogance that that holds cis straight men when they walk and talk like that. That's not for me. So keep on curving. That's all I gotta say. Keep it going. Keep it going. Let's move on to my next question, which was in connection to what Eric has been saying. What have been some revelations, either positive or negative, that you have come to while dating or considering romance throughout this pandemic?
I have accepted that I am not romantic. I'm sentimental, but I'm not
Interesting.
romantic. And sometimes romance feels like a performance.
It is. It definitely is. And the fact that you said it out loud just like clicked in my head, like something snapped. Was just like, yeah, that's of course.
It definitely is a performance. Like, and sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, like I gotta be a girlfriend today. Like I just want to lay here and not do nothing. Like it's so much at times. And I have realized that to be in a relationship or any kind of partnership is something that is intentional every second. You don't like, you shouldn't be just like, whatever. And I'm that person sometimes. So that's something that I need to work on. Because it's not cool to like have people all excited and then just decide, I'll holler at you next week. And that's something I'm working on. But yeah.
For me, last year, I came to the conclusion that sometimes I stick around a lot of things or a lot of like toxic connections to people because I just in my point in my life I was thinking like I wasn't like getting any calls or getting any like attraction or like attention from like people that I would want to actually like date or whatever, or the people that I were trying to talk to or in the midst of talking to with, they were just, I don't know, shitty bad communicators or whatever. So I think sometimes I used to attach myself to a certain type of feeling that felt like intimacy, but that wasn't really that though. So I think I had like an obsession with that. I kind of realized that after going to therapy finally and realizing like my thrive for intimacy was like a factor in why I was probably attracting the wrong stuff that I didn't need to attract. So now paying attention to that, now I watch myself and see like, okay, is this part of my exception or just sort of things that I wanted? And I have to like write a list like what are things that I actually want out of a relationship? What does real intimacy actually look like to me? And then that now I can weed out like, okay, I know what I want. I very much would like to be in a relationship right now. I actually haven't really actually dated someone since my ex from Houston, and I moved here 2018. So that's been a very long time, and we were broken up before I even moved. So that's been a very long time since I've actually like been in an actual relationship with someone. So I think that's also plays a factor into what I'm looking for, and I guess the rest that have that type of intimacy or whatever. But I'm learning to now navigate that.
That's great. I want to ask the both of you guys, what does intimacy look like to you? That's a big question, but if you guys can sum it up, sum it down, or something like that.
Not butterflies. I've totally divested from the concept of a person who I'm comfortable sharing space with making me feel anxious. I need to be calm, comfortable, like my my pure human self. Like that's what intimacy looks like to me.
Okay, so I was also thinking about the butterfly thing, but opposite. So I was thinking like butterflies makes me feel free. And so a space that intimacy to me is like a space where I'm able to be myself with all flaws in general. And also to me, it sounds like jazz in the summer in a park. I feel like jazz in the summer in the park is always something to me that's it's sweet, it's elegant, it's something that puts me in a good mood. I'm never like I don't know, jazz is something to me that feels organic, it feels right, it feels like me. And I feel like that jazz in the park in general is fun. Hearing the saxophone, hearing these tunes and revelations. That's why like love intimacy makes me feel like it makes me feel like a butterfly, like I'm flying away into a space of desire, a space of reality in a sense.
This is one of my last questions. Apart from romance, what areas of your lives have you guys noticed love bloom in?
My work. I one thing I've noticed, because I was celibate for like 2 years, that creative energy and sexual energy are the exact same. And
What?
so,
What? I've never heard that link before.
yes,
Elaborate, please.
if you find yourself extremely horny and you don't like handle that in the way that most people will, and you like focus that towards your work, I've made some amazing shit. Like Ayana got on this call talk about my work, and that was an affirmation for me because I struggled with the idea of abundance for so long, and like I was so tethered to the idea of being like a struggling, starving artist. And so just allowing people to like pour into me in other ways, like especially career wise, has changed my life exponentially. Like I've only been able to move to Brooklyn because I just decided that I was going to stop being a broke, lonely bitch. And the universe joined me in that. And now I'm here. So I would definitely say that my career life is a place that's been getting a lot of extra love as of late.
Yeah, I've been working on a lot of self-love. So basically learning how to build my own self up, running to a space of not being tethered to like negative emotions about my life, my career, things like that. All those things affect me all at the same time. Um, so I think 2020 was allowing me the space to just like work through that in general. And I'm still working through that, but I think now it's like I understand who I want to be, where I want to go, and how to maintain that, or the tools in doing that though. So
I'm still on what Jessica said, that connection of sexual energy to creative energy. Because I'm a Taurus sun, so my sexual department is always satisfied, and it's just if it's not, it immediately is. It's just it it's just very basic and like foundational to me. So I'm wondering if I should go celibate for a while to see like my work really bloom in places that I
It
want to
was
go. But
hard. I'm not even gonna lie. I have a Taurus moon and I have a lot of Libra. Like, so Venus, like, you already know. But that, if you can make it past that first, I guess, 3 or 6 month hump where you're like fiending, after that, you're good, honestly. But, um, but yeah, it can be hard. And then obviously there's times where you should, lean into desire and pleasure and, all that. But yeah, sexual energy can definitely be channeled into a bag.
wow, I'm all pleasure all the time. That's hedonism. I made that concept, so that's definitely something to look into. Oh wow.
wait, so Jessica, are you having sex right now, or you kind of like
Yes,
no?
yeah. So I'm done being celibate. But I do have times like, which is also hard to navigate while dating because some people take you not wanting to engage in sex as like an insult to them. And it's like I could just be doing something else. Like, why do I have to be, you know? Um, but
Yeah, there's
yeah,
plenty of other
now I
things to
am,
do.
say it again?
There's plenty of other things to do, especially when you're linking with someone, talking to someone, dating, as we were talking earlier. Like it
Right,
doesn't
I agree.
have to revolve around sex.
Um,
What are
but
what are some other ways you guys go about like, channeling that intimacy that can substitute sex?
cooking, I'm a big foodie. Like, if you can sit and eat with me, like, we're, we can do anything. Like, comfort is first. And also, shopping for home decor. Those are little, like, acts of intimacy that I appreciate.
Not Trader Joe's and IKEA date. Copy.
Um. Okay. So honestly, I don't really crave sex like that. Honestly, I don't have to have it. I've gone years. Well, I won't say years, but I've gone like a year or two without having sex. I won't say not including oral, but I mean like as in full having like a full sexual experience. I don't normally do that with a lot of people in general. I don't really trust a lot of people with doing that, and I just feel like my body is very expensive. So I just don't think that everyone deserves that thing. And I don't think about sex like that a lot. My creativity really comes from like a different space. I think the only time I really feel like that I really want to be intimate with someone is someone that like I'm actually really feeling, and someone that I really want to like be around a lot. And that's where like that sexual tension comes from. Now, I mean, we're human, so you know that tension comes up every now and then, but it's not something that I feel like I always have to like act on in general though. Yeah, sex is not that big a deal to me when it comes to that. I'm more about the intimacy part, and that can be without sex for sure.
Um, I think we can close on one last question, and this is a little bit more hopeful because I wanna know this. What are you guys looking forward to in your romantic lives, or in the areas of your lives in which like love is heavily present in?
Um, I'm looking forward to honestly just being a better person and partner. Like, I think there are a lot of concepts that I am aware of in abstract, but have a hard time putting into practice, like grace. As far as my relationships, like if I feel wronged in any way, like a lot of times I cannot shift perspective to see how this person might have been feeling, or like, what may have led up to this moment. It's like very tunnel vision. So I think I'm just looking forward to just being better, so I'm not having these issues in my 30s, because I don't want that.
I'm actually moving in the realm of, with the person I'm actually talking to right now, of not having expectations. I think my expectations for a lot of things have been like kind of broken when I'm trying to talk to different people. But also, I'm also trying to untether myself from like bad toxic things I think about myself when it comes to relationships, and me not being enough, or me not being in a space where like it's probably my fault why certain things are not happening, and I do that a lot. So I'm learning to let go of that, and I think with that, I'm looking to be surprised. I'm really looking for like God just to surprise me with something, and I feel like that they will surprise me with what I'm actually looking for, what I need, once I like allow these other like blinders to like get out of my way though too. So, just moving those things out of the way so I can actually see the promised land, if so. But I'm definitely looking to be in a relationship now. Like monogamy is that girl. So
Monogamy is that girl. I guess it could be like one of our last closing questions, because I love hearing people's ideas of that. Does monogamy work for y'all? Do y'all believe in that?
I have recently heard about a term called ethical polyamory. I don't really know what that looks like. Um,
The ethic.
I have a Leo Venus. I love having multiple admirers, but I'll be damned if my person has multiple admirers. So,
There you go.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm unlearning and relearning. Like monogamy is that girl in theory, um, but my ideal situation is someone who's all about me and lets me have people who are also all about me. So I don't know what that is.
That can happen though. You can absolutely find that someplace, and someone will be definitely down for that. For me, I've always been key to the idea that a relationship can like change and have different forms throughout time. And like I've been in polyamorous relationships in the past, or open relationships in the past, and now I don't want that at all. Like right now, I just want to like focus on my current partner, and that be it, and that's it. Not that I don't have the energy to, or like I'm looking at it any sort of like negative way. It's just that's all I kind of want right now. But I'm open to so many other possibilities in the future when we get to that point. But right now, I can only focus on one thing. How do you feel, Eric?
I think I've always been monogamous in a way. I never thought about being in love with multiple people or interacting with multiple people at a certain time frame. I deal with a lot already as a Gemini. So I'm not trying to cause any more like diversions or anything like that. I like giving my one time and energy to one thing when it's that person, and I want to continue to do that. But I also agree with, if there's things down the line that we decide to do, they might be down the line of monogamy, but as long as me and my partner are making them together as one unit, then for me that's a little bit better than everyone doing whatever the hell they want to do. Because one, I can't control that, so I need some controlled environments that I can hand on to. Yeah.
Well, I guess we've come to a close, you guys. This has been a really lovely conversation. I love top conversations about love and romance, especially with queer people, because like we have a profound understanding of what that actually is, and we have a profound understanding and connection with ourselves and what we have within ourselves. I truly don't believe our cis hetero, I don't know, what do you call them, companions, like really understand that concept. I think they're always tied around like, reproduction and just like having kids. Like I think that's like very Neanderthal-y. Good for them though. Like, but I just feel more advanced and like, really connecting with like, what I have with us. So I'm really appreciative for all the gems you guys have dropped today and like taking the time out to speak with me. This was really, really lovely. Thank you so much, you guys.